Hey, fellow freaksters, it's Tim from the Moratorium. Just here to remind you that if you enjoy what you hear, please like, share, and subscribe, then rinse and repeat. We're just a couple of small-town nerds trying to make sweet geek love to your ear holes, and we could use your support. Check out our website for movie reviews, links to social media, merch, movies, and more. You can find us at themoratorium.com. Now that that's out of the way, on with the shenanigans. Well, guys, it's that time again, when Jason and I scrape off what's left of last week's movie from our boots. If you've never listened to a yarn wall, it's kind of a hodgepodge of connections. We pick an actor, or in this case, a broad subject, and dive deep on their or its history. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Then we have a segment called the Goratorium, where we have a mini review on a movie or subject we organically wouldn't get around to. Finally, there's a yarn. Jason and I take turns in connecting to the next movie via the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon style game. Are you confused yet? If so, then you're in the right state of mind for this episode. Enjoy.
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
And now for our lesson.
All right, now repeat everything you just said.
I think I was talking about little people.
Oh,
You know?
little people.
Billy Barty.
Billy Barty's probably the most famous of the little people, right?
I would say, yeah. I mean, in America.
In my eyes.
You can get him out of there. This is the most unprepared I've ever been for a podcast.
That's awesome. I love how you just come out and share that with our audience.
Well,
straight off the
it's
bat.
true. I just don't want everybody to say, all two people to say, wow, he sounded really unprepared. So I just wanted to nip that in the bud.
Nip it in the bud.
Yep. Gotta nip it in the bud. That was my Don Knotts imitation.
Oh, that was pretty good, actually.
I'll work on it. I'm going to take it back to the shop and kind of work on it.
You got that Don Knotts lilt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Andy. Still not there, but close.
He's constantly going through puberty.
I can't do it right now because it'd be really loud, but my wife was pretty impressed that I sounded just like Granny on Beverly Hillbillies earlier. All I was doing was just screaming Jed the entire time, which I think is her only...
That's her only line.
Well, that's her catchphrase for sure.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, dude, I got one thing to say.
Okay.
Fuck the censors. There.
Ooh.
I said it, all right? Ooh,
Man.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate.
Man. I am bringing on the heat today.
What does that mean exactly?
The more I look into certain things, the more I see that some movies were held back because of their content.
Uh-huh.
They were made to cut and trim out certain things, just like Forbidden World and Galaxy of Terror. They had to cut shit out to make an R rating. It's because if you didn't have an R-rated movie, you're not going to be seen in a theater, and therefore you're not going to make any money.
Right.
And it's all because of what people deem inappropriate.
Oh, well, yes. By the MPA, is that what you're saying?
Or whoever. I don't know who it was way back when. When did the MPAA form?
That is exactly what I was looking at because I don't know off the top of my head.
Established in 1922.
Wow.
That
was just because they didn't cover up the table legs. Because their guys were getting like boners from... Oh, by the way, speaking of boners...
What a segue that was.
That's the name of the podcast right there. Speaking of boners, That would be like, well, okay, yeah, boners. But for last week's episode, I could not think of the medical term for having a boner.
You mean erection?
Or an erection. So let me just make sure that I'm...
Let me Google.
Oh, okay.
They did not teach this in school when I was in medical terminology.
That's what I was hoping, that you would have some kind of knowledge about this. Okay, I was wrong. I mean, technically it does fall under this adjective does apply, which is tumescent. It's swollen or becoming swollen. To become swole? Well, wait. It is a boner. It says, then the second part says, especially as a response to sexual arousal. Priapism is a prolonged erection of the penis. Oh, wow. Priapism. That sounds like a religion. Yeah, like you should be bleeding from somewhere because of Jesus. Do you want to just stop the podcast now? I think we've completely derailed. Well, we can stop after I was going to finish the sentence that you're hard for Jesus. That is not what I said. You go back and listen to the tape. Although it occurs to me that you can just edit in whatever you want. Exactly. All right. Clicking off. That was a hard click off. Ooh. Oh. Okay. Everything's rigid today. But not our sense of humors. No, they're kind of flaccid at best. I think I have had too much caffeine today. Is that it? Usually I don't even, that would never occur to me that you could have too much, but man, a couple of cold coffees and I'm feeling wild. Like you're snorting the Coke off of a craft service table at a... Yep. Off the lid of a toilet. With Gary Busey. Yep. I was looking here because for some reason... I think when I was thinking of Bruce D. Clark, who is the director of Galaxy of Terror. Okay. I was thinking of Bob Clark. No. When I saw Bruce D. Clark, I was like, oh, yeah, I know this guy. And no, you don't know this guy. No. Well, and he is not related, not to be confused with. Well, I mean, there is a Bruce D. Clark. On Google, it says he's just a badminton player. Is that him? It's very strange. He's listed as a badminton player, but then all of the IMDb stuff for like Galaxy of Terror is right underneath. So I guess you can do both. I guess. Did you know that it's badminton with an N? And see, I was just going to that's another ask podcast. You that question because I was going to say badminton. Because badminton is actually, isn't that where you get bitch slapped by a 3-year-old in the wintertime? Yep, a badminton. Badminton. Mm-hmm. Like, that's one, badminton. Bitch slapped by a 3-year-old. Yeah. Do you see what's happening here? We're talking about badminton on a movie podcast for quite a while. Oh, Jesus. This is why none of ours are under 3 hours. I know. We don't know when to start. We don't know when to stop. Okay, well, I am clicking off the tab that says Bruce D. Clark badminton player. Right. So I can focus. Are there tournaments for badminton? I would assume so, yeah. It's not an Olympic sport, I don't believe. Oh, that would be riveting. They need to do like a... you know how they did like the XFL, where like they need to do that for badminton. Or make the birdie have spikes on it. Yes. Yeah. Like rollerball. I don't know. All right. Have you ever seen that movie? Which one? The first one? The one with James Caan and it's got the coolest cover ever? No, I don't think I've ever watched it. I don't think I have either. And didn't the remake have like LL Cool J in it? Mm-hmm. That'll be enough about that. Moving on. Okay. All right. Let's just start this off like we do every
episode about 10 minutes
Mm-hmm.
in.
Yep.
Welcome.
Actually,
to-
say the name of the podcast.
This is the Yarn Wall, right? Welcome to
Yep.
an obvious extended edition of the Yarn Wall.
Why obvious? What do you mean?
I've got a lot to talk about.
Okay, let's get it going.
My name is Tim Cornman. I'll be your host. With me, as always, is...
It's me. Hello, it's me, Jason Walker. Isn't that a Todd Rundgren song or something?
I was just thinking that. I was trying to make a connection there.
We do a Rundgren cast? Toddcast. All about Todd Rundgren. That'd be fun.
I wanted to say, I caught part of a movie the other night that I'd never seen before, and I'm really anxious to see in its entirety, called Night Riders.
Oh, man. I have tried so many times to make it through that movie.
Really?
Yes.
It looked like a lot of fun. I mean, it's guys on motorcycles jousting.
Right. It's George Romero, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Ed Harris is in it with
that's
Tom
right.
Savini.
Yeah. Yep. And Tom Savini is basically like, is his name Sex Machine in From Dusk Till Dawn?
Right.
Yeah. He's basically the same character.
I can see that.
I think.
I didn't know that Ken Foree was in this as well.
Right. Yeah.
This was 1981.
How would you even describe it? It's like
I can read it right off. That'd be easy.
I don't even know. There's not time travel involved, right? It's like a Ren fair with motorcycles.
It says, a medieval reenactment troupe find it increasingly difficult to keep their family-like group together with pressure from the local law enforcement, interest from entertainment agents, and a growing sense of delusion from their leader. Their leader is Ed Harris.
Okay.
He's the king. This movie is 2 hours and 26 minutes long.
Oh my God.
I can see why you've never made it through the entire thing.
Just can't imagine watching it that long. Dude, Tom Savini is in a like chastity belt for a little while. Why?
He's in full metal armor. I mean...
Okay, I have to say this before I forget, really. I did not realize that Patricia Tallman, who was in the remake of Night of the Living Dead...
Okay.
Was that directed by Savini?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Well, she's in Night Riders. She's... I don't know...
Okay, so she plays Barbara. I did not know that. That's awesome. Yeah, I think she's playing like the queen, maybe.
Okay.
And Night Riders.
God, dude. Ed Harris looks like he is taking this so seriously.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he was. And this was 1 year before Creepshow.
Wow, okay.
So very interesting that you have
Very
Romero, Ed Harris, Tom Savini. I caught part of the movie that was with, they were at the Ren Fair and they were doing the jousting and doing their show. And there's a whole crowd of people around. And in the audience is a young
Stephen
King. I was going to say, 5 o'clock shadow, but it's probably like a 3 o'clock shadow for him. It's just really...
I mean, Tom Savini is in this movie and his beard looks like he got the, pirate makeup from Walmart and just kind of dabbed it on himself. It's really strange looking. Or just like charcoal or something.
But Stephen King was in the audience and saying, oh, it's all fake and everything. His wife, Tabitha, is also in the movie, playing his wife in the crowd.
So not a big stretch.
Right. But I thought that was very interesting. It was very fun.
It is interesting. In fact... It's one of the most interesting things in the movie. Which is just a cameo. I really like Patricia Tallman, though. This is kind of, just looking at the stills makes me kind of want to watch this.
So Patricia Tallman, she has 44 credits. She was in Atlas Shrugged 2, which I never made it to. Mm-hmm. I made it through most of Atlas Shrugged. And
why?
I don't know. Ooh, she was in Austin Powers. She was a electric psychedelic Pussycat Swingers Club waitress.
Well, she's just got a ton of makeup on and probably a giant wig.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm taking away from this is that I've got to watch the remake of Night of the Living Dead again, because she's really good in it.
My wife would know who we're talking about, because this chick
wife
playing Lita Alexander in Babylon 5.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course she is.
But Night Riders was her first credit. She came back for Tales from the Dark Side, and she was also in Monkey Shines.
Oh, interesting. As who?
Says party guest. Right.
Okay, yeah. Probably didn't have any lines.
And right after that, she was in Roadhouse.
What?
Yeah. She was a bandstand babe.
Now I gotta watch that for the 300th time. Oh my god, I love that movie. As the years go by, my love grows for it.
And she was the possessed witch in Army of Darkness?
Oh yeah, she does look... okay, I think I know who... Yeah. Weird.
Man.
Okay, I'm just gonna admit it right now. I'm loving this Knight Rider thing, by the way. I do have to watch this, but I couldn't even come up with a quote-unquote deep dive. So all I have is just a bunch of trivia about things that don't really go together.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and when you should have started off with this to talk about Patricia Tallman.
Yes,
Yeah.
Exactly.
See how easy that was? I just did a deep dive for you.
Yes, thank you. A lot of some of the trivia that I have is about actors who are like unrecognizable in like special effects makeup.
Okay.
So, Knight Riders though, Ed Harris, the picture of him with like the crest and like the flames, and he's got the crown on and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good actor.
Oh, I dig him. He dances really good too.
Oh my, that is exactly what I was going to say. How many times have we brought that up? His like disco dancing in Creepshow with his upsetting male camel toe. The elusive male camel toe. Oh, this is what I was going to say. Scott Reiniger, the guy from Dawn of the Dead that ends up turning, he's in Knight Riders too.
Interesting. There you go. Oh, I was just looking at Patricia Tallman's trivia here. She's a stunt woman.
Okay.
How did we not know she was a stunt woman?
I don't know. I'm embarrassed.
What has she done stunts for? 46 credits in the stunt department.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Including Tales from the Dark Side, Creepshow 2, Shakedown, Breakdown, Takedown, everybody. Sorry. I can't sing the rest of the song. We'll have to pay for it.
The first movie that was made from a song, and then they just kind of filled in the plot later.
Last Rites.
Last
Rites. That's Tom Berenger. Yeah, and Daphne Zuniga. Huh. I remember the poster for that. Yeah.
I do too.
That's all I remembered about that.
I like the way you so calmly said Zuniga.
Zuniga.
Like just a... she has a weird name.
All right, I lost her already. I had more to talk about.
Ed Harris, except for his face, is covered in hair. He looks like a shaved monkey. Like they just strategically shaved him and then put clothes all over the hairy parts.
She was Laura Dern's stunt double in Jurassic Park.
Oh, what? Oh my God. You've hit a gold mine with her.
I'm thinking that.
I love her.
She did the stunts in Shocker.
Okay.
For Mitch Pileggi's part, I'm sure.
Of course. She had the bald thing on. Oh, God. We got to do some highlights of like whenever you can just, clearly see like like a young girl falling out of a window is really just a like 45-year-old man with a giant 70s mustache. I'm going to point all those out. Oh, she was Gina Davis in The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yep. For the cliff fall. That was when she was...
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yeah.
Man, I loved that movie.
But man, very interesting. After Midnight. What was After Midnight? Yes, I loved this box art.
Oh, yeah.
Was that that had to be a
Eric Clapton song? Is that what you were going to say?
No, Charles Band film. I'm sure it
Uh,
had to be 1989.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, man. How do you... This is funny because I think this is what you were like commenting on. There is a certain quality to the box art for Charles Band movies.
Mm-hmm.
And this looks like a Charles Band movie.
Yeah,
Just from the cover of it.
Interesting.
I've never seen this movie.
Nope, neither have I. I'm clicking off of this.
Good. She was in Mr. Belvedere, too. Did you know that he's famously sat on his nuts? Okay. I'm going to write that down for myself. I'm never saying that again. Never say Mr. Belvedere sat on his...
Are you tattooing it? Come on already.
nuts. Okay.
All right. Well, we just came off of the double feature, Roger Corman, Galaxy of Terror, and Forbidden World. I will have to say, I think Forbidden World is a better film than Galaxy of Terror. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I do like the story of Galaxy of Terror. It gets deeper as it goes on. Like the last 20 or 30 minutes are real, they're messing around with a lot of different kind of concepts instead of just ripping off Alien, which is what Forbidden World did, and just shamelessly ripping it off also. It's like you only have to watch it for a couple of minutes and you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
I didn't have as much problem with Forbidden World as I did with Galaxy of Terror.
Yeah.
Forbidden World is just
pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of boobs.
There's no psychedelic,
No, they got psychedelic.
It wasn't like some weird, 70s, like a movie within a movie type of,
Anyway, they're both good in their own right. I just enjoyed Forbidden World. I would watch Forbidden World again.
Yeah, and they do share a lot of the same qualities. They both used buckets of KY.
I think the gloopiness of, was it the pure protein form of our cast members?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, Michael Bowen melting was pretty cool. That was really gross. I kind of want to know what they used for all that, kind of translucent, material, He was still alive while he was looking like that. Why didn't they just fucking shoot him in the head with the lasers?
They burnt everybody else.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, that was Galaxy of Terror. God damn it.
Oh, okay. Let's just cut our losses on those. We did them. You guys go back and figure it out. We're not going to do all of it.
It looks like the head of the makeup department, though, for Galaxy of Terror. No, I'm sorry. God damn it. Forbidden World.
Forbidden Galaxy of Terror World.
Yes. Was John Carl Buechler.
Yes. And I just didn't have time to look at all of his stuff. He has just been involved in so much shit that his IMDb is confusing.
Dungeon Master, Ghoulies, Troll, Eliminators. I remember when Eliminators came out at the theater, I wanted to see it so bad. Never got to see it.
Yep.
Terror Vision, From Beyond.
Oh, man.
Dolls, Ghoulies 2, Prison.
All of our favorite movies, really. Can I just say that there is it looks to be kind of not a how-to so much, but there's a movie called Movie Magic that is kind of a behind the scenes of special effects and stuff. I need to see it. I vaguely remember the cover.
Okay.
But I'm looking at some of the stills from it, and I don't remember any of this stuff. I for sure don't remember John Carl Buechler in a tiny little, looks to be a women's pink tank top. So, not a man's tank top, I would say.
No.
Appears to be a woman's.
Definitely stole that off somebody. Starring James Cameron, Rick Baker. Oh man, I got to see this.
Richard Baker.
All right, we need to go ahead and stop the podcast so we can go watch
this. Yeah, I know. And doesn't that cover look a little familiar to you?
Yes, it does. When did this come out?
94, I believe.
This was episodic.
Oh, really? It's a documentary series is what it says. Oh, man.
Gotta find it. There are 5 seasons.
What? Okay. Got to get it.
Put a pin in it. We've got to come back to this.
Okay. I'm going to do a little research while I'm
doing the podcast. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Hey, I'll be back here in a little bit. I'm just going to dive out of here.
Well, let me dive right into...
Yes?
Dude, I actually watched 2 movies for my Goratorium.
Okay.
But I'm thinking about saving one. I'm not positive. It just depends on how much longer we want this show to be.
Yes, I agree. I wasn't supposed to do one of those, was I? This is our podcast, and I don't understand the rules.
When you do the movie, when you do the yarn,
the
other person does the Goratorium.
Interesting.
And a deep dive.
Okay.
Yeah, I let you skate on that one because...
Yeah,
You were slightly more prepared than you are today.
Probably, yes. Today is literally, I'm looking at this and it is just the scribblings of a madman. It's just a bunch of words that are just independent of all the other words around them.
I have taken 0 notes.
You're just freeballing it.
This is about how I do it. All right, so my deep dive is a guy that we've seen plenty of times that just even by mentioning his name, you might recognize his face.
Okay.
But he's been around for so long.
I'm interested. I'm in now. Who is this mystery man?
Charles Napier.
Oh, yeah.
Now, once you see his face, then you can picture him in just about everything.
Oh, of course. I automatically think of Austin Powers, but
right.
He's done like 1,000 movies.
He was probably most notable in Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, sure.
He was one that came to feed Hannibal Lecter in the cage.
Yes, and just lost his face.
Did he get his face peeled off? I don't think so.
Don't remember.
No, he's the one that got his nose bit off and slammed his head into the back of the thing. Of the cage.
Great.
Yes.
He is in an episode of Star Trek that makes me feel like
yes.
I want to wash my eyes after looking at this because it is disturbing.
You can find that on YouTube.
Oh,
the original Star Trek series, 1969. The Way to Eden. And he's a space hippie.
Yeah.
He's a commune space hippie.
Yes.
And I think he plays something like a sitar in it.
Yeah, like a space sitar. As long as we're just continuing to use the modifier space for anything vaguely sci-fi.
But I love it.
Yeah.
Now, he's got a sordid career that started off really, really strange.
And that's what's funny is that usually he is a government, he is the farthest thing from a hippie that you can possibly think of. Mostly because of his face. His face lends itself to being like a CIA guy or a cop or
Well, I'll go to his trivia real quick. I'll jump back and forth. He's appeared in 10 films directed by Jonathan Demme.
Oh, wow. Okay. Do you have all 10 of those off the top of your head?
I can. After graduating high school, he enlisted in the Army in 1954. He rose to the rank of E5 Sergeant while serving as a company clerk with the Company A 511th Airborne Infantry.
Wow.
I mean, this is a reason why he's been played as a military type.
Right.
Or some sort of cop.
Right.
He played Murdoch in Rambo, First Blood Part 2.
Right. Yeah.
But then again, he was in the Blues Brothers. You know?
Yeah.
Charles Napier, his career started off in 1968 in a film called We a Family. Okay, this is written and directed by Gene Van Hearn.
Okay.
There is no information about this film. It's Swedish. That's what I got for you.
Okay.
I don't even know who Gene Van Hearn is.
I don't
because
either.
there's no picture. Is it a guy or is it a girl? No information.
Oh, man.
But there was a lot of sexploitation films around this time, and this was a part of it.
Interesting. Okay.
But he was in another movie called The House Near Prado, also written and directed by Gene Van Hearn. No information. There is a picture. There is a box art. It says, "The screen has never witnessed such scenes."
Okay.
Where prostitution explodes into revolution, vengeance, and assassination. Okay.
Okay.
Couldn't find anything else about this film.
Yeah.
Another movie, The Hanging of Jack Ellis. Also written and directed by Gene Van Hearn.
Huh.
All right. This movie, it actually has a couple of actors in it. One of them, which was James Limp. James Limp was the head actor in the movie The Love Butcher that one of our listeners asked us to watch, in which I, graciously accepted that challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
You did.
I did. For all of us. I watched that. Anyway.
You really took one for the team.
Very interesting. Charles Napier then went on to star in a bunch of Russ Meyer's films.
Yeah, I saw that. Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. And
the first one, in fact, was called Cherry, Harry, and Raquel, 1969. An hour and 11 minutes long.
Wow. It sounds like it should just be called Bush Hair. Because there's a little... It just seems like a very bushy movie.
In the trivia, he's appeared in 4 Russ Meyer movies, Cherry, Harry, and Raquel, which he went full frontal.
Oh, God. Wow.
This is a guy you probably never wanted to see the size of his schlong, but
no,
I guess you can.
Well, I mean, kind of, but not really.
Don't want a poster of it.
No, exactly.
Schlong posters.
Old Chuck Napier.
Beyond the Valley of the Dolls and The 7 Minutes, both of which he kept his clothes on.
Thank God.
And there's a movie in 1975 called Super Vixens.
Yes.
It says in which he used a humongous rubber phallus or dildo as a stand-in.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I don't care if I see signed 8x10 pictures of that. I will never believe it. And I don't think you should either. His name's Harry Sledge.
Yes.
Okay. He is also in a movie called Bush Shrink. I am not making that up. Where is it?
I don't see it.
It's on here somewhere. I just looked at it. It literally is called Bush Shrink. Oh, please don't let me be just hallucinating this.
I'll continue.
Thank you.
All right. Super Vixens, 1975, reads, Clint Ramsey has to leave his job working at Martin Bormann's gas station and flee after his wife is murdered by a psycho cop, Harry Sledge, who tries to pin the murder on him.
Okay.
Okay. It has an interesting cast, but a girl down here by the name of Haji, Haji.
Okay.
Who has been in 16 films, one in which I can't wait to see, only one. But she started out in Faster Pussycat Kill Kill.
Okay.
1965.
Okay.
Never seen it.
Really? I've seen that one. And it's another Russ Meyer movie?
That's a Russ Meyer film, yes.
Yeah, it's got I can't pronounce her name. Tirana? Is that her name?
Tura Santana?
Yes, Tura Santana. Sorry.
She's got the big brows. Yeah.
Yeah. She's a super vixen.
I mean, she was in Motor Psycho.
Okay.
Another Russ Meyer film, which I was really interested in seeing. 3 bad boy motorcyclists get kicks by raping women and generally being a nuisance. When they rape a veterinarian's wife, he takes exception and pursues them, teaming up with a Cajun woman. I mean, a veterinarian's wife.
It just has ellipses after that. It's like, okay, you guys fill in the blanks. I'm not going to tell you. I can't possibly tell you everything that happens in this.
This movie has Alex Rocco in it.
Yeah. I do not want to see him as like a greaser. I don't know why, but it just seems very strange.
So this is where I went down. I got into all sorts of sexploitation films.
Wow.
This is why I was talking about censorship.
Mm-hmm.
Censorship of any kind. And I mean, some of these films were probably happy they censored.
Right, exactly. It just built their infamy.
We really didn't need to see this.
Yeah.
But it also did create, like you said, the infamy and made them more popular than they are. My foray into the Goratorium is on the same level. She was also in Bigfoot, 1970.
Okay, now who are we talking about now? I've
Haji.
Haji. Okay, gotcha.
And I just clicked on that because I'm like, oh, what did a 1970s Bigfoot look like? Mm-hmm. Exactly what you think it looks like. A man in a really, really bad suit.
Really hot in there.
I could almost smell that suit right now.
Ooh. I'm sorry, what movie started all this? I am so lost. I've got like 20 IMDb.
Uh-huh. Am I going too fast for you? That was because of Super Vixens. Super Vixens has Charles Napier in it, which also has Haji, and I had to look at her.
Okay, perfect. Now I'm totally tuned in now.
Okay. So Bigfoot has John Carradine in it.
Oh, man.
Playing Jasper B. Hawks.
Oh.
But down on the list, I had to click on this guy. His name's Doodles Weaver.
Uh-huh. I know who Doodles Weaver is.
Do you?
I do.
After you look at his face, and you're like, "Holy shit! I know this guy."
That guy's name is definitely Doodles. That's a doodle if I ever saw it. Yeah, he does have that, just like
a face that only a dog could appreciate.
Yeah, exactly. Man, that is a face. He's kind of like, well, and I don't want to. Well, maybe I shouldn't say this, but like his face is too small for his head. Where like the kid from Sixth Sense, have we mentioned this before? Now it seems like I've mentioned this before, but it's like somebody photoshopped like his features, like his eyes, nose, and mouth are like 3 times smaller than the head that they're on.
That's awesome.
That's a medical condition.
It's called melanus smallus. That's what it's
I love it. I love it when you talk like that.
I only clicked on Doodles Weaver, though. I only clicked on one movie.
He was in The Birds. He was in a Hitchcock movie.
Yeah. But he was in a movie called A Ton of Grass Goes to Pot.
Oh, okay.
This is an action comedy of a group of friends plan to smuggle a ton of marijuana from Mexico to the U.S. by using a hot air balloon.
Yep.
I was curious because it's rated GP. What the fuck is GP?
I don't know. G used to be like GA or something for like general admission.
Maybe. Anyway, my point being, if this is rated G in any form and it's about marijuana, that just seems kind of weird to me.
But is it about marijuana, or does it just sound like it's about marijuana?
No, it's that's. Did you not listen to me read the plot? You just totally tuned me out.
I was trying to read along.
I know, I'm all over the place. I understand.
I'm still looking up Doodles Weaver movies.
His name's Doodles.
Oh, that's why I've seen him recently. I watched a movie called Trucker's Woman not too long ago.
That sounds like a romantic comedy that I want to see.
It also has Larry Drake in it. So,
all right. Another Tulsa native.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Charles Napier.
Oh my God.
You need to backtrack a lot to get back here.
A lot.
Right?
Let me close all 13 of these about Doodles Weaver. Okay. I'm good now.
So Charles Napier was in a movie called Alien Attack, 1976. Earth's moon is the site of Moonbase Alpha, a scientific research colony nestled in the crater Plato.
Is this a TV movie of the series Space 1999?
I think so.
Because the poster basically says that.
This has Martin Landau.
Yeah.
Barbara Bain. That's all I got. But yeah, I've never watched Space 1999.
I know. I vaguely remember it being, like seeing reruns of it when I was really young. Jeez. Martin Landau should just rent out his face as like a billboard and just have people paste their band flyers.
So Charles Napier, he was also a returning character in BJ and the Bear. He played Hammer.
Cool. Cool name.
And the most interesting thing, before you click on it, before you just ruin everything for me, he provided the growls for the Incredible Hulk TV series.
What? Oh my God.
He was a voiceover for the growls for
You're
the
right.
Incredible
I see
Hulk.
him, like billed as Hulk. That's crazy.
Bizarre.
Oh man, I wish I could have heard that. Like he's in like a little studio, like the little box. And how long was that day? This episode, because when I add the stuff that I have written down, this is going to be like a fever dream. Like
We become very unhinged.
Yep.
Charles Napier was also in a movie, 1982, called Wacko.
Okay.
Directed by Graydon Clark.
Oh man, if I never hear his name again, it would be too soon.
Starring Joe Don Baker, George Kennedy,
Yep.
Julia Duffy, Andrew Dice Clay. Andrew Dice Clay's character's name is Tony Shalongini.
Oh God. Why?
This is a comedy / horror.
Good God.
13 years after the lawnmower killer killed her sister, high school student Mary Graves and obsessed detective Dick Harbinger are on the lookout for the killer to reappear during the annual Halloween pumpkin prom.
Yeah, everybody has those, right?
The killer wears a pumpkin on its head.
Okay.
After watching and thinking about student bodies lately, I thought for a brief moment, I've got to see this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched the trailer.
Yeah.
And I can't unsee that.
Nope.
The only reason I would watch it is because Joe Don Baker is obviously making fun of himself.
Yeah, I've thought about that. You know, from watching Mitchell so many times, like, maybe this is just like a deep, like, Andy Kaufman type thing where he just plays this, like, fat dumbass.
And Mitchell was 75, so this was 81, 82. This is before joysticks. Did Graydon do joysticks?
Ugh. Please don't say that sentence again.
Yes, that is correct. He did. There, you happy? I'll just avoid saying.
Thank you.
So, did Mr. Clark also do?
Oh, his name's Graydon.
Anyway, I watched the trailer for Wacko. It's really, really bad. At one point, George Kennedy has a chainsaw at a dinner table, and the daughter says something like, "He's right behind you," and George Kennedy swings around with a chainsaw and cuts off his wife's hair. It just looks absolutely horrible.
Julia Duffy's in it.
Yeah, I know.
Does that make it any
It doesn't
better?
make it any better.
Me. It does for me a little bit.
I kind of want to see it now, but after seeing that trailer, I was totally turned off.
Well, fun fact, they all had to use the same porta potty during filming for this, so that was fun. I have a lot of stories about that. My God, dude, this looks insane. I might have to watch this just because.
Julia Duffy does look very young and very cute.
Yeah, I know. I like her.
She's adorable.
Scott McGinnis?
Yes.
I mean, I know that face. Like, I've seen whatever he's in a few times, but I just can't come up with it.
He plays Norman Bates.
Yeah.
Let's see. He was Mr. Adventure in Star Trek 3. What?
I didn't get anything out of that. I don't remember part 3, to be quite frank.
That was the search for Spock, right?
Yep.
So that was all on the planet, right?
Did they find him?
Yeah. Well, they found he grew old really quick on that planet.
Oh, right.
And they had to bring him back when it was like, oh, all right, he's about the right age. We got to leave.
Yep. Have you ever seen the movie Meat Eater with like the bloody fork on the front? I just remember that being in a giant box at my local VHS place. You remember those oversized boxes, you know?
Yes.
Why did they do that? They wouldn't even fit on a shelf.
I know. They wouldn't, but it made them stand out.
Remember Black Roses had like that kind of...
the embossed?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, Charles Napier, let's go back here. Very interesting career.
Man, he does.
The Night Stalker. I looked at that one because I was interested in actually trying to make my way around to some of these slasher films, right? A tough homicide cop is assigned to track down a serial killer who's murdering prostitutes. Okay, that's pretty simple.
Checks out.
Robert Zadar.
Ooh, what a face.
He plays Chuck Summers. I'm sure he's probably the bad guy.
Has he ever played a good guy, I wonder? Might need to look that up.
Maniac Cop 2, again with Robert Zadar. There we go. Cop Target.
That's hard to say.
It is. It's directed by Umberto Lenzi.
Oh, boy.
As Humphrey Humbert.
I don't like any of what you just said. Umberto Lenzi has done some real gross movies.
When I saw his name, I thought it sounded familiar, but I don't think I've seen any of these films.
I want to say he did Anthropophagus, the one that has the guy like eating his own guts on the front.
That was Eastman, George Eastman.
Yeah. Oh, man. I can't forget one of my classic blunders, which was to think that I was mixing up. Who was I mixing up again?
George Eastman and Christopher George.
Christopher George. Two completely different people.
See, if you edited the show, that would have never made the light of day.
You're right. But since you actually kind of turned my volume up a little bit so people would for sure hear the mistake, my mistake. I sing for you.
Umberto Lenzi
Eaten
did
Alive,
Cannibal Ferox. Yes. And Nightmare Beach.
Yeah. And Ghost House. If that's the same one, that is one of the worst movies ever.
Really?
Oh, it's bad.
The box art says La Casa 3.
Yes, I like that. Yeah, it is the same one. Oh, man. That's a Riff Tracks movie. It's the only reason I've seen it.
That's why I've seen it.
Yep.
Yes.
Also is Humphrey Humbert.
Humphrey Humbert. Anyway, more Italians that we need to definitely trudge through.
Yep.
Charles Napier has been in a ton of films, really has. His credits span 203.
Wow.
He was a voice of the sheriff in Squidbillies.
Yeah, okay. Oh, wow. I did not realize that. Holy shit. Yeah.
Very interesting. He's played several voices on The Simpsons.
Okay.
He played the sheriff in Dino Croc. Roger Corman.
He was in Lords of Dogtown for some reason.
And he played the voice of Zed in the Men in Black series, which was the cartoon.
Oh, okay. That's something.
So it's Charles Napier. He died in 2011 from blood clots.
Ooh, you got to watch out for those.
Sneak up on you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He has an outstanding career. We can keep looking at his stuff, but I think I've spent enough time on him. Charles Napier, thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you.
And your service.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, just going through this, he's also a lot of like video game voices, and he does have a good voice, you know.
You can almost hear him.
Yeah, it's gravelly, to say the least. You'll know him when you see him, for sure.
That's it. There was something in his trivia here that Roger Ebert often referred to him as that character actor with a smile like Jaws.
It doesn't put you at ease when he smiles. It's quite the opposite.
Enjoys painting with watercolors.
Oh, interesting. He was in Swing Shift.
Yes, he was.
Wow, I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I don't even know if I remembered that was Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell, Fred Ward, and Ed Harris all in the same movie. It's pretty good.
That's awesome.
Nice.
All right, I'm clicking off of Charles Napier. Thank you very much.
Oh, man.
That was fun.
That was fun and informative and confusing. I have a lot of tabs open. Not the pop. Tabs on IMDb. Did you know that they discontinued Tab recently?
Well, just recently?
Yeah. Did you know that they were still making it?
That was the part I didn't know.
I don't know. My deep dive question mark is just a bunch of stuff that I wrote down. And it's almost like a IMDb follow along.
It's your grocery list. It's really
yes.
It's like, I had eggs,
exactly.
Milk, butter,
Doodles.
Unsalted, Doodles
Gotta
Weaver.
Get those Cheeto Doodles, or those Frito-Lay. Was he the spokesperson for his own snack?
That would be awesome. I would love to have a snack. No, maybe I wouldn't want to have a snack named after me.
Take it from me, Cornman. You mean?
Exactly.
you mean your name that already has a vegetable in it? Hey, I just want to listen to something real quick. Can we listen to something real quick?
Sure.
I'm not sure how this is gonna sound, but
Is it you playing an
No.
instrument, or?
It's on YouTube, but it's
Okay.
just real quick. It's the Dragnet rap. Yeah, it's Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd rapping to a bunch of people dressed as goats.
Oh. I know most of the lyrics. I can just barely hear the song.
Well, maybe that's a
You may go back and sing it. Look here, Strebeck, we're just in time. We have stumbled in on a major crime. They've got the girl all frightened. No, that's not nice. I think she's the subject of a sacrifice. Maybe should put this party on ice. I had this on cassette, by the way.
This is definitely not NWA. You did.
It's a city of crime. Don't step out of line.
You know what? I think I had this too somehow. I think I had it on tape.
Yes. You were just saying, yes, I'm playing this on YouTube and not my little
right.
Walkman.
Exactly. So anyway, that's fun. That has absolutely nothing to do with anything, but it's just
That's your deep dive for today. Thank you very much,
and
Jason.
done.
Good work.
Why did I? Oh, okay. So that was part of my. That was part of the movie. My yarn to the movie. So just figured I'd get it out of the way. My deep dive was. I started out. I was thinking about Tangerine Dream.
Okay.
Okay. I love Tangerine Dream.
Mm-hmm.
I got like the I don't know what it's called. I don't think it's the director's cut. It might be though, of Legend.
Right.
And this has happened a lot, and I'm not exactly sure why, but their Tangerine Dream are mostly famous for doing badass soundtracks to like most of my favorite movies. You know.
Okay.
They did the music for The Keep. which was awesome. Did the music for Legend. They did the music for Thief, the Michael Mann movie with James Caan. They did the soundtrack to Near Dark, Catherine Bigelow.
I see that.
I don't know if I guess if I watched that, it's been a while since I've seen that. They did the music for Risky Business, which now I need to listen to. But I love
They
that
also
movie
did
too.
the music. There were 4 songs featured in Stranger Things.
Yes, they continue to do music for TV and movies.
Do they actually have their own albums, or are they just...
That is a interesting question. Yes, they do have like studio albums. And if you guys don't know, they are very like kind of kind of, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, kind of like ambient,
Okay. But nothing to do with Dragnet.
No.
I just want to separate.
That's something completely different. In my unending love for Dabney Coleman, I was looking up Dabney Coleman stuff, and Dragnet just popped up.
Gotcha.
Was I thinking about suggesting we watch 9 to 5 as our next movie? Yeah, sure. Would it break all the rules that we've set up so far? I don't care.
All of them.
All of them. All of the above. So anyway, but we were watching Legend, and they changed the soundtrack for the director's cut.
I think somebody mentioned that and was like, why?
Yeah, right, exactly. Because now it sounds like, I guess they wanted like the kind of big, I can't think of who did it, but it's like somebody like, who did the music for Star Wars? I'm trying to think of like...
Yes,
composers.
that guy.
Anyway, I can't find on here who it was that they replaced it with, but I was bummed out because I remember that just as much as, that's just a part of the movie. And when I heard the music, I was like, man, this is not, don't love it.
So they wanted to make it sound like John Williams did the music
John
for
Williams.
Legend.
Yes.
That's what they were trying to do.
Right. They wanted to add some kind of like gravitas to the soundtrack, which I like the dreamy stuff,
It didn't need to be fixed.
No. Wasn't broken, didn't need to be fixed. But also, so then I just had the trivia for Legend kind of popped up. And also I was looking for just kind of urban legend stuff, like movie curses, like Poltergeist and, the dead kid and 3 Men and a Little Lady and midget that hung himself in Wizard of Oz. There's a bunch of them, but they've all been debunked and they're not very fun anymore, I don't know. The Poltergeist one's kind of fun. That's still slightly creepy to me. I mean, what is real is that they did use real skeletons for that final scene.
Because it was cheaper.
Yeah. That's fucked up, dude. That's somebody's grandpa. I'll watch Jo Beth Williams roll around in her panties, but don't let grandma and grandpa rest in peace. You know what I mean?
Right. Can you donate your body to film?
To the movies?
You can donate it for science. Why can't we donate? That's it.
Somebody did a bit about that. It might have been Bill Hicks who was talking about using like terminally ill people for stunts and stuff. An awful joke, but he was saying like, grandma's last minutes on Earth. Do you want her like dying in a bed, or do you want like
going off a cliff in a car? Yeah,
right, thrown through a bar window or something.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is. But anyway, so from Tangerine Dream, it didn't really go anywhere. I like their music. You guys can listen to it if you like kind of spacey, keyboard stuff. And but then I just started looking at the trivia for Legend, which...
That's what I was just looking at, because it was talking about different alternate versions.
Right.
I guess it started out at 150 minutes.
I mean, but I would watch every bit of it. I love that movie. I love Ridley Scott. all the cast. Tim Curry just spending like hours and hours in probably one of the best makeup ever, you know?
Who did the makeup?
Feel like I should have already had that locked and loaded, but I want to say Rob Bottin, but I don't see it anywhere on here. It also says that Tangerine Dream is uncredited, and I could have sworn I saw their credit at the beginning, but I might be wrong. They're from Germany, by the way.
Rob Bottin was in the makeup department.
Everyone is in like heavy makeup except for Tom Cruise and Mia Sara. Oh my God, Mia Sara. Okay, one of the random things that I have written down is...
Does it say Mia Sara Hubba Hubba?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I just looked at her recent pictures and yeah, she's just Mia Sara. But that started me thinking about Ferris Bueller, you know? That happens from time to time. And did you know that there was a Ferris Bueller TV show?
I think we brought this up before.
Really?
Yeah. I could be wrong.
If I listened to our podcast, I would know all this.
If I could retain anything we say.
Yes. Exactly. Charlie Schlatter. Okay.
Okay. Charlie Schlatter.
It seems like he was in a bunch of stuff when I was a kid. But you probably know him best from 18 Again, you know, when they were doing all the body swap movies. And that's the one with George Burns and his nephew? Hard to say. Grandson? Anyway, so he just had to walk around with a cigar, basically, and that was his entire performance. But Jennifer Aniston was, I believe, Mia Sara's character, you know, in the TV show, which is interesting. It's one of the first things she ever did. Yeah, Charlie Schlatter was also in Diagnosis Murder, which I see. He played a doctor on there, and I see that from time to time. I think he's Dick Van Dyke's, like, nephew or something.
Okay.
Whew. Thanks.
I'm glad you took us down.
Tidied that up for everybody. Silk Stockings is a voice on Sonic the Hedgehog, the cartoon. Anyway, all this really doesn't matter.
It was on for one season, 13 episodes.
13 might have been one too many. Do you remember Heartbreak Hotel? It's a Chris Columbus movie, the same guy that did Home Alone. But David Keith plays Elvis.
Right, yes.
I guess he's trying to, like, you know, make it as a singer or something. I don't really remember the details. And I'm not that interested in looking them up. Also. Because it looks just awful. David Keith, though, did have... He had some hair. You can't not say that he didn't have any hair. Oh, Chris Mulkey's actually in that, too. Remember him from The Hidden? Where does Dabney Coleman fit into all this? And I don't have a...
I've been waiting.
I know.
You
usually
promised me some Coleman trivia, and you have not delivered.
I know. But take heart. I will talk about him for a little bit. Somehow I got to War Games from all of this, and I couldn't tell you how. Oh, okay. So there's a character in War Games that is in my movie for today, but that's not how I did the yarn. Probably because I got caught up on Dabney Coleman. But anyway, yeah, John Wood is also in War Games. I think he's like the scientist, or not scientist. He's the computer guy that they go to visit.
Let me look him up.
I saw his face and I was like, oh, well, that's the evil bishop from Lady Hawk that also had Matthew Broderick in it.
Oh, yes, this guy.
He's got a face.
Yes. He's
got
a
a
face.
long British face. But then I spent the next 30 minutes thinking about how much I loved Lady Hawk when I was a kid. Loved that movie.
Damn it.
I want to say...
Just could not get anywhere with...
But all of this is so... I think Tangerine Dream did the soundtrack for Lady Hawk, too. So it's like, I can't remember why all this stuff is just kind of blending together at this point.
Somebody needs some Adderall.
Exactly. Yeah. Or just not so much caffeine. I've had like 3 cold coffees today.
Just blame it on. You had 2 earlier. Have you been drinking one since we've been talking?
I have. I got this concentrate stuff that you just like add like creamer and sugar to it, and whew, it is, my heart is palpitating. Is that the right term?
Yes, that's the right term, and that's not a good thing. Do not take your blood pressure because you might be frightened.
Way off. So, I mean, all the stuff's there. Tangerine Dream, Dabney Coleman, Michelle Pfeiffer.
The guy who did the music for Lady Hawk, or was in the music department, was Andrew Powell.
Okay.
And that doesn't look familiar at all because he has hardly anything.
Interesting. I probably just made that up. Didn't realize that Richard Donner directed Lady Hawk.
I did not know that either.
I thought it was...
Who'd you think it was?
I don't know, but I always think of Lady Hawk as like a lesser known movie, but maybe everybody's seen it. I went to the theater to see it. Is it still good?
Who is Massimo Sarcielli?
Ooh, love that.
That's a good name.
Damn, dude. Rutger Hauer is good looking in this movie. This is like the peak. He's peak Rutger Hauer in Lady Hawk.
He was never a bad looking guy. He turned evil.
Yes, maybe that's it. He did turn evil. You mean in real life?
Maybe.
I think so.
Because I was thinking about Rutger Hauer earlier this week because I was thinking about doing a deep dive on Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh.
Because he's a pretty good character actor. He's been around for a little bit, but he was in the movie The Blood of Heroes with Rutger Hauer.
And Joan, I almost said Joan. Joan Chin.
Joan Wilder?
The Joan Wilder? I, for a split second, and I actually shook my head, like to shake a thought out. But I was like, should we do Jewel of the Nile? And then I came to my senses. Like, I'd still love to.
I could just about hear what Tim's going to say about that.
But I mean, think about it though. We could do a 80s adventure little series, like 2 or 3 movies. Jewel of the Nile probably wouldn't make the cut, but like I'm thinking more like Alan Quartermain and those types of like Indiana Jones ripoffs, Oh man, those would be fun to do.
Sword and Sandal?
Yes. It's kind of. It's more like sweat and it's like sweaty shirts,
sweat and dust.
Well, there's not a lot of dust because I would say they're usually in like a tropical location.
So then what about the post-apocalyptic type movies like The Blood of Heroes? I mean, I think The Blood of Heroes probably didn't get a lot of play because I don't think it ever played at the theater.
Probably not, but
Absolutely
I saw it on HBO a lot.
The writer, director for The Blood of Heroes was David Webb Peoples, who wrote Blade Runner.
Oh, really?
Unforgiven, 12 Monkeys, Soldier.
Whoa.
And uncredited for Lady Hawk.
Really?
Fuck, it's just all connected.
That is... Are you sure?
I am not shitting you. Leviathan?
I'm looking at it right now. Well, then why hasn't he... That is a very strange name, and I can tell you, I don't think we've ever talked about him.
Nope, never brought him up.
Weird. Oh, man, Unforgiven. Wow, that is some... I love Soldier, too. That's a badass movie.
That was a badass movie.
Interesting. Very interesting. Oh, is the Hero the one with
Yes.
The one with Dustin Hoffman.
And Andy Garcia. I did not care for that movie.
No, it's not great.
And that has Kevin J. O'Connor in it. Tripping over him.
I feel like we're in the Matrix.
It has a guy in it that I'm not going to mention. Well, Stephen Tobolowsky. I've talked about him enough. But it has another character actor, which I'm not going to mention because not 5 minutes ago I wrote down his name so I could do a deep dive on him.
Okay.
So,
all right. Keep it to yourself. Don't tell me.
Not telling you.
Okay. Did I mention that Joan Chen was in Twin Peaks? I don't know. I feel like I should give Twin Peaks alerts for every time we run right over somebody that was in it. David Webb Peoples. Thank you for your service.
Yes.
Clicking off of that tab.
All right. Are you ready for me to go on to my Goratorium?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, first, let's play the new intro music.
Ooh, cool.
By our new our music director now.
Okay.
I'll just give him that title because he's
the only one.
He's getting paid as much as we are right now.
Oh, absolutely nothing.
Yep, absolutely.
You want some stickers? Here you go. We primarily have a sticker based. What's the term?
Currency.
Yeah, currency. That's exactly it.
Our whole foundation for this is based on
sticker-based economy. It's basically just like 6-year-old girls. The currency of 6-year-old girls.
Our currency is not 6-year-old girls for those people who were reading into that too much. No.
It's purely Lisa Frank products. Pencils with unicorns.
All right, so cue the music.
I did.
All right, now that was a new induction into the Goratorium by Titanium Pinos.
Interesting.
Yes, that's the name he wishes to go by, and that's the name I'm crediting him with.
It's no Tangerine Dream, but it's something.
It's close.
That's pretty close. It's got the same amount of syllables, I think. Well, cool.
All right, so I went down, like I said, the censorship rant got me back onto the video nasties.
Okay.
Still going through the videos nasties list.
Which is basically thing they did in England during the 80s to get rid of all the smut that kids were watching. Yeah.
And they prosecuted people.
Right. Wow. Can you imagine that? For
indecency.
Oh, come on.
For those who would not comply with, you need to take out this quote unquote smut.
And they're like, fuck you. It's staying in. If someone was arrested over extra, that I would back. I would be for that.
I'm totally on board with
Totally on board with that. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So in going through these, there's several movies that I wanted to go through, but one of them stuck out like a sore thumb. 1975's Snuff.
Ooh, okay. I have never seen this movie.
And it's okay. Okay. You don't have to.
Thank you. I want to say I remember the cover to it.
I do not. Well, the cover that's on IMDb shows a picture that is kind of a pair of scissors that have cut this picture up. On the box art, it says, the film that can only be made in South America where life is cheap.
Jeez. Brought to you by the travel,
Yes.
that is not a great
Pirelli Tours.
Yes. That is not a endorsement.
No. So it reads, a so-called snuff movie involving the exploits of a cult leader leading a gang of bikers in a series of supposedly real killings on film.
Okay. So
there's no real plot. There is long drawn out scenes of people on motorcycles. There's a couple of badass motorcycles, by the way.
Cool.
But there's a hippie cult, one of which the guy, I thought his name was Satan. So instead of Satan, it's Satan.
How does it, is there like a exclamation or like a apostrophe or something, or like a
I don't know, because there's nothing in the actual credits. This movie, I mean, it's shot cheap.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like South America.
Yeah,
I think maybe they made it like that so it would look like somewhere maybe in the United States.
maybe.
Which, they could have filmed this anywhere. It does.
Right.
There's no noticeable landmarks.
Right. I mean, you can kind of tell some of the girls have armpit hair, so that's not usually a American thing.
There's plenty of young girls in this. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of boobs.
Mm-hmm.
A few sex scenes. There's nothing extravagant about this film. I think one of the first girls that gets shot, well, they find her out in this kind of field where she just snorted something from the palm of her hand.
Okay.
Like with a huge straw.
Right.
And they chase her down and they shoot her several times. And I don't know where the idea of this film got that it looked real enough to convince people.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. So do you think it was advertised as like sort of a like Faces of Death type thing, or like a real found footage or something?
I believe so. The worst part about this, and I'll read it here in the trivia.
This movie looks like it is on the verge of becoming a porn at any moment.
Yes. So let's read from Wikipedia. I think that's where I've started it here. The film started out as a low-budget exploitation film titled Slaughter.
Yes.
Made by the husband and wife grindhouse filmmaking team of Michael and Roberta Finlay.
Gotcha.
Filmed in Argentina in 1971 on a budget of $30,000.
Ah, okay.
It depicted the actions of a Manson-esque murder cult and was shot mainly without sound due to the actors understanding very little English.
Right. I could see how that could be a problem.
With that said, I believe that Michael Finlay played the voice of all the men.
Okay. And I know for a fact one of the women, because I was just looking at it. It says that he is the
Carmela.
voice. Yes, he's the voice of Carmela. And I'm looking at his face and saying like, yep, I could see a Carmela in there somewhere. He looks like the Argentinian version of like, he looks like a serial killer a little bit.
Yeah. And they did such a poor job trying to dub the voices in to even get close to it was hard to watch, it's like they were speaking in English because the mouth was close, but the audio was so far off,
badly
matching
synced.
it.
Yeah.
Yes. On this page for Wikipedia, it does say that this article has multiple issues. So you can take anything I say about this on Wikipedia as a grain of salt, which is, I guess, every article on Wikipedia you should take with a grain of salt.
Yes, that is very true. Anybody can come in there and, kind of mess around with things.
This picture contributed to the urban legends of snuff films, although the concept did not originate with it.
Okay. Which basically just making a movie, and trying to sell it as an actual, like, found footage.
Right. Yeah, the voice of Max Harsh was dubbed by Michael Finlay. There's a whole lot of just nothing that goes on in this film.
Right.
And really, the deaths, there's a lot of gunplay.
Okay.
There is one scene, I believe, that it was notorious that the girl was supposedly pregnant and they shoved a knife into her abdomen.
Okay. So now is this, what year are we looking at? Is this after the Manson murders and stuff?
This was 75, so you tell me, when was Manson?
That occurred in 69. So I guess it was kind of using that as a... But I'm sure that was just in the air, even still, like in 75. Dirty hippies getting fucked up on LSD and just killing people.
Yes.
There was a lot of drugs in this movie, I assume?
Not as much as you would think.
Is Michael Findlay?
Sure.
Findlay? He did a sequel called Sniff, which I think is just about cocaine. It was never released.
So Michael Findlay, he went on to direct 25 different things from 1964 to 1977. I am sure that all of these are worth watching. Yeah.
One of his movies from 76 is called Virgins in Heat. And the plot is masked man breaks into adult movie theater and forces projectionists to run pornographic movies. That's the plot of the movie.
Wow. I'm sure it would have been just easy to just go to a porno theater and just sit down and watch.
Yeah. Just reading the names is gross.
There's one called Menadsidika. What the fuck? I can't. Mnasidika.
Nasidika.
In ancient Greece, a rapist/killer is captured by lesbian tribe. Okay. So, I mean, he basically just ran around making a lot of crappy films.
Yeah. If you look at plot keywords under Nasidika, it's just bare breasts, female full frontal nudity, open vagina, lesbian threesome, large breasts. Tim, what have you...
It also says hairy labia.
Oh, God. Is that the name of a movie? It's like detective. Hey, I'm hairy labia.
Who's hairy labia?
Who's hairy labia? That's the question.
Oh, shit. I feel dirty now.
Yeah, it does say hairy labia right there. I thought you were making that up.
Nope. I'm not making
Close up of a vagina. I love it that it says, is this relevant on the IMDb right underneath. You tell me. You're the one that put the fucking...
All of these girls, there's only one guy in this hippie commune. He's the leader. The Satan or whatever.
Okay.
And all the girls are making out with him.
Sure.
And he's kind of grooming one of the girls to be in their so-called tribe or whatever.
Okay. They have a new initiate.
Right. In which they try to get her to do certain things, including killing people.
Okay. Because usually these things just devolve into just like a beer-soaked... a lot of girls like shot from underneath, just doing like go-go dancing kind of.
Yes.
So that's what I would like these to be.
But some of these scenes go on and on. There's one scene in which they grab one of the girls, I think the girl that was sniffing the cocaine out of her hand or whatever, they go to torture her before they kill her, I believe. It may have been one of the other girls. All of them mixed up. It doesn't matter. They put her legs in this device, a wooden device like you would see in old English times where you put your hands and your head through, right?
Yeah, like the stocks or whatever.
Right, exactly. Like the stocks, but this one's made just for the legs.
Interesting.
And so they put her legs in it and they hold down her arms while somebody starts jabbing her foot with a knife and basically just sliding the knife between the toes.
Oh.
Which is really kind of unnerving.
Yes.
Until they go on and do the same thing for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just the same orangish blood. You see the blade of the knife go up on the toes, and it's obviously not cutting through the skin at all. You know, at first, it's jarring, and after 5 minutes of it, you're like, okay, that's enough.
Right.
You hear kind of squishing noises in the background.
Yeah.
So,
and it basically, the blood just looks like kind of temper paint, like just like orangey.
Yes. So really what this movie is known for is the end scene.
Okay.
All right. In which the movie just ends abruptly during somebody being killed, and a camera pans back to show that there is a camera crew in the room filming this.
Okay.
One of the guys in the movie starts talking to this girl and saying, "Oh, you were so great in this scene. You know, I really think that you're something," and starts schmoozing on her and starts trying to make out with her. And she's like, "Oh, there's people in the room." She's like, "Oh, they're going to leave. They're going to leave." So he tries to make out with her, just kissing on her and such. And then the film crew just kind of turns the cameras towards her and start filming him trying to make out with her, in which they then tie her up and start mutilating her.
That's supposed to be like the real, like that actually happened, right?
Correct.
Okay.
That was portrayed as being the real snuff part of the film.
Gotcha.
They played it off like this because they wanted to get the reaction, and they did. I was reading I could just read this real quick.
Okay.
The distributor reportedly hired fake protesters to picket the movie theaters showing the film.
That's a good idea.
And although the film was exposed as a hoax in the magazine Variety in 1976, it became popular in New York, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and Boston. 20 female protesters protested the films, and I think some of them were arrested. Rumors persisted that the film showed a real-life murder. But if you watch the film, it really is obviously fake.
Right. Yes, right.
It says actually here, theatrical release, the snuff grossed $66,000 in its first week and outgrossed One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest for consecutive 3 weeks. So before anybody knew that it was fake, they actually got something out of it.
Gotcha. Huh.
But no, they ended up cutting off the girl's fingers.
Okay.
One of her fingers at least. And I mean, you could see the tube inside that is,
yeah, not great.
Yeah, it was not well done. But because of that, that's what made it get into this Video Nasties list.
Right. Another movie that tried to cash in on it was a Mario Bava movie called Bay of Blood. And that's why when I typed snuff into IMDb, it brought that up because it was a alternate title for it.
Have you seen that?
Yeah. Bay of Blood is actually a good movie. Do you remember that old disc that we had that had Kill Baby Kill on it?
Mm-hmm.
It also had Bay of Blood on the same disc. So
I might still have it in there.
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember what it was called. We watched that a lot. It had Deep Red and had some good movies on it.
No, I had a very bad habit of just buying unknown films that were in collections, and we had a good time.
When you get like 15 movies for $5, that's a deal, whether they're crappy or not.
So anyway, that's my induction into the Goratorium right there, the movie.
Well, now hold on a second.
Oh shit!
While I've been looking at this on IMDb, I didn't think I thought you had seen this. Why it really should be in the Goratorium is how Michael Findlay died.
Yes. Oh my God. I had that pulled up and it was rested on that screen for so long and I got lost.
Well, it's pretty wild. I'm on a thing now where it is a kind of abbreviated version of that, but there was a real long, description of what happened. Apparently, Michael Findlay bought a new camera, like a 3D camera that he was going to try out for one of his next movies. So he, I guess, ends up on top of the Pan Am building with this camera.
Waiting for a helicopter. I don't know if was he filming this or was the helicopter coming to pick him up?
I don't know, because the one on IMDb, the explanation is really short. And I was just looking at a much longer one, but I would say he's probably just filming the helicopter landing. And apparently the helicopter made kind of a fucked up landing and tilted over and decapitated him and a few other people that were around him.
On Wikipedia, for Michael Finlay, on May 16, 1977, Michael Finlay was killed in a helicopter accident on the roof of the Pan Am building in New York City. The accident occurred shortly after 5:33 p.m. arrival of the New York Airways helicopter from John F. Kennedy Airport. It was in the process of taking on 21 passengers. So this is a huge helicopter.
What? Oh, God.
For the return trip, where the landing gear failed and the aircraft tipped on its side while the rotors were still running, Finlay and 2 other passengers in the process of boarding were slashed to death as the spinning rotors detached and disintegrated. Another male passenger died later in the hospital. A woman on the street was killed when hit by falling debris.
Jesus Christ. I do not know why anyone would get in a helicopter of their own volition. It's just like a bunch of knives with a motor on it and like a little basket underneath. That is... They fall out of the sky all the time. I mean, obviously.
Oh, yeah. They make it look so easy to just hang on to, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. It's not a toy, guys.
Yeah.
This is something to stay away from that thing.
Yes, that was straight out of Wikipedia for Michael Finlay. And that was another bizarre thing. Thank you for reminding me.
Seems like a fitting ending for him. I don't want to, I hope that... I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but he had a pretty gross career. But I applaud him for it. Wow. Decapitated by a helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I want to go. Instead, I'll probably just die of a heart attack and be eaten by cats.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always wanted.
Oh, with a cold brew coffee in your hand.
Of course. Well,
all right.
That was informative and gross. Thank you, Tim, for that submission.
So I will be saving my second one I watched this week for another. I'm going to have to remember this film or watch it again because...
I can't imagine following up on that. What possibly could have followed that?
Way better film.
Oh, wow. See, well, at least you picked the crappy one to give us today.
Exactly.
I do remember seeing Snuff. It had a different cover. That cover looks like a Herschel Gordon Lewis movie, but there's another one that was like a bound, I don't know, it looked like the front of a Bible or something, and it had Snuff written on the front of it.
See, if you look on IMDb's picks, the first pick, it looks like a crumpled cover, and maybe that was it.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's okay. Exactly what, yeah, right. Like it's a, you bought a Playboy, when they used to like wrap them in paper or something.
Mm-hmm.
Gross. Just to add a little bit of grossness onto the end of it. Okay. I just took a shower, but I'm probably going to take a nap. Okay. Well, that was disgusting. Now let's have kind of a... Usually you do like a palate cleanser.
Do we have some nice soothing music that we can go into the yarn wall with? Do we have something like that?
You mean not the Dragnet rap?
Or WKRP in Cincinnati?
Oh my God, that's my favorite. Okay, I know I said let's wrap this up, but who did the WKRP theme? I just need to know this information.
And why don't you already know?
I don't know. Okay, so I have picked a film that I had a real hard time deciding if I wanted to do it because I just don't know how it's going to hold up. I've not seen it in a long time.
Okay.
But I feel like it needed to be mentioned because It really does fit like our criteria. It is not available. It's never had a Blu-ray release.
Awesome.
You will have to watch it on YouTube. And
Well, how did you get to it? Did you get from Galaxy of Terror? Or did you go with
what I did was oh, now you got me all confused. Michael Bowen is in Forbidden World, correct?
Yes.
Okay, the guy from Kill Bill.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a little scared there for a second that I'd mixed them up yet again.
We should be able to go from either one of these films because we were doing a double feature.
Yeah, that's true. This is probably, I don't know what you'll call this one. The way I got to it. It's a little convoluted, but it was the only freaking thing I could figure out. Okay, so we'll go from Michael Bowen, who was
Buck who likes to fuck.
In Kill Bill.
He's been in 130 things. Did he show up in most of Tarantino's stuff?
He is in several of them, yes. So I went to Kill Bill and got Daryl Hannah. So Daryl Hannah to Tom Hanks, which is why
we're going to Splash.
Which is why Dragnet showed up.
Not that you went through anybody in Dragnet except for Tom Hanks.
Except for Tom Hanks.
You didn't go through Dragnet. You just saw Tom Hanks and you're like,
exactly.
Remember when he was in Dragnet? That's not usually what you bring up. Usually when you bring up Tom Hanks, you're going to talk about The Burbs.
Yes, or Mazes and Monsters right behind that one.
But I'm going to bring up Bachelor Party every time.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I think those all could work in their own unique way, you know. So, yeah.
So you went to Splash
to Tom Hanks.
Hold on a second. Now I've got to go to... All right, if you're cruising through them, I won't try to click on them to keep up with you.
We can make a detour into Money Pit, and then we can get back on the road if you want to. Maybe pull over for a minute.
Oh, Splash was 1984.
Yeah, that's an old movie.
Remember when her name was...
Yep. I still tell people that's how my wife eats lobster. Is just like has it all over her by the end of it.
I did not realize that Ron Howard directed Splash.
Yeah, and isn't he in it? Because when I looked at it, I thought it had him down in like the cast. I could be wrong.
Rance is down there.
Yeah, right. Rance. I just saw him on Little House on the Prairie.
There's Clint. He's down there, wedding guest.
Everybody at the wedding's like, who's that guy with the giant head?
There's Cheryl Howard is down there too.
Is that his sister?
I don't know. It's what
Must
I was
be
wanting to
Ron
know.
Howard's sister. Oh no, it's his wife. Oh boy. Well, the reason I said it's his sister is because she has bright red hair, like he doesn't. He's bald now, but did.
Who's Babaloo Mandel?
He's a famous producer or writer.
Is he really?
He did.
He wrote Splash.
I can't believe you don't know who Babaloo Mandel is. He is everywhere in the 80s.
Multiplicity, A League of Their Own. Forget Paris. I love Forget Paris.
This is blowing my mind. His wife is like Rance and Clint. She's also in every single one of his movies as like a little extra.
We've never picked her out.
No. I got to watch Ransom again. Okay. So where was I at? Okay.
Splash.
I was at Dragnet. We're going to Dragnet to pick up Dan Aykroyd. A Dan Aykroyd. Any one will do. So I'm just breezing through this. Dan Aykroyd, what is there to say? But he was in Ghostbusters with Bill Murray.
So you're getting all the heavy hitters on this trip.
This is just how it had to be. From Ghostbusters, we'll go to Stripes, which,
I love Stripes.
It is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Really? I don't think we've ever watched it together either.
Probably not. I watched it just a ton on like Cinemax or something, you know?
But you mainly watched it because John Larroquette, right?
Yes.
Or Judge Reinhold. Both of those guys.
Wow. I'm a big Larroquette head. And I love Night Court. I loved Blind Date, you know.
I forgot that Timothy Busfield was in this.
Oh, another redhead. Does he still have his hair?
Yeah, it looks like it. Anyway, Stripes.
We're almost done. I wish I had this clip because this lady, you would know who this is by her voice. But her name is Fran Ryan. And she is the old lady. Oh, I shouldn't say old lady. She is the woman that is in the cab when he just pulls over on the bridge and throws his keys into the.
Okay. Yes.
Now, once you see her, you'll be like, "Oh,
yeah, I see her. I recognize her. Yeah,
she's been in a million things.
She was in Night Court.
Yeah, Night Court. She did all the TV back in the day. Quantum Leap,
Empty Nest. Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
Mr. Belvedere.
Oh.
And did you realize that there was No, never mind.
What? Now I have to know.
Mr. Belvedere famously sat on his nuts.
Yeah, I did know that. I've heard that. But it's not been verified.
Of urban legend.
Yeah, it is an urban legend. Yeah, Webster, Highway to Heaven.
She was also Lady in Car and The Sure Thing with John Cusack.
Yep.
She played 2 different characters on Three's Company.
I love her car work, and I also love, she was in stewardess school. I think she faints a lot, or like falls down a lot, maybe. Manimal, Falcon Crest, Matt Houston.
She was in Rocky 2. She was Adrian's nurse in Rocky 2.
Oh, interesting. Laverne and Shirley, Johnny Belinda.
Wow. Mary Hartman.
Oh, man.
15 episodes.
This goes on forever. Waltons, Dukes of Hazzard.
Did we even say how many credits she had?
No.
Because I'm still scrolling.
I know. Let's see. 144.
144. Batman TV series 1966.
I should say she passed away in 2000. She was 83.
Right. She was credited as the old woman in 1970.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like she just looks old even when, It's not so much that she just looks like she has a body for an apron. She looks good in an apron.
Okay.
She has the head for a bonnet. You know, one of those old timey, like Little House on the Prairie bonnets.
That's awesome.
And I say that because she primarily wears a bonnet in Eyes of Fire. Have you ever seen Eyes of Fire?
No. Is that our movie next week?
That is our movie next week.
Eyes of Fire. What year is that?
80. Hang on a second.
There it is. 83. Maybe looks familiar.
Okay. Now there's an alternate cover. That's like a movie poster, which looks badass. I like that purple one with the tree. There's another one that you will know, that you will be more familiar with, that is a girl.
Yes, that's it.
Kind of a cloak. Yeah.
I know that box art.
Yeah. All the trees are skeleton arms. And
sinister evil waits in the woods. One mysterious girl knows the secrets.
That's good. That is like... It's giving me chills.
No, there's her in a bonnet. Isn't that her in picture 52? Yeah.
It should be, yes.
No, that's Ivy Bethune.
Oh.
What a name is that? But I saw a bonnet and I was like, oh, that had to be her. There are a lot of bonnets in this film.
I know. Don't look at the picture so much.
Because it's going to give it away?
Yeah, because
I see that one picture right there. Yeah.
Yes. For me, the entire thing is once this movie gets going, there is some real creepy shit in it.
What year is this supposed to be?
It's in the 1800s.
Is it like colonial?
Let's see if it says. But they're a real, like, imagine like the Donner Party, like setting out for, the West. And
okay.
The plot is that this weird preacher played by Dennis Lipscomb. Lipscomb. I don't know how to say that.
Sure.
Which I think I could have gotten. I mean, that of course that's why I got stuck on War Games, because he is primarily he's a character actor that always plays like government people or something. He was in Under Siege. You recognize him, but you couldn't nail down exactly what he's in. I saw Without Warning and I got excited, and then I realized that it was a TV movie about Earth being hit by meteors or something.
Right. I think we had talked about that one once before too.
Oh, right. We got it confused. He was in the X-Files.
He was also in Cop Rock. So.
Oh boy.
And he was in Ferris Bueller TV series.
Okay, that's probably
where that came from. Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, read off this movie.
A preacher is accused of adultery, and he and his followers are chased out of town. It does kind of have like a cultish, this guy's kind of like a Jim Jones dude too.
Okay.
But he just likes to, fuck all the chicks. More like a Mormon type thing.
Okay.
They become stranded in an isolated forest, which is haunted by the spirits of long dead Native Americans.
Okay.
So it is a supernatural thriller. I've seen it probably 1,000 times.
Really?
I'm pretty sure that it was just at the video store.
I don't know why I've never seen it, because I've picked up this box, I don't know, 1 billion times.
Right. It starts a little slow maybe, but when it really gets up and going, there's some pretty cool shit in it.
The writer-director only has 3 credits under his belt.
And they're weird credits. He did The Invisible Kid.
Why?
Which I have seen a few times. Click on Jay Underwood, the guy that was in The Boy That Could Fly and stuff, and look at his profile picture, please, if you could.
Why all of a sudden you're way off under Jay Underwood?
Just look him up. It's depressing. Oh, yeah, he was the brother in Uncle Buck, too. Oh, no, he's the boyfriend.
Why is that depressing? He's bald. But you're saying that he was so young and we grew up with him?
I guess. Yeah, maybe. He's wearing a weird shirt.
What did he look like
too.
Back then?
He was handsome, but I think he started losing his hair and couldn't get leading man roles.
Is that it?
That's sad. I shouldn't have said that. I guess that happens then.
And again, that's why we're on the radio.
Yeah, exactly. He played Sonny Bono in the Sonny and Cher story? Oh, whoa. I'm in a real quagmire over here. I'm going to click off of him.
Yes.
Anyway, I don't even know why I brought him up.
Nope. You went from The Invisible Kid to The Boy That Could Fly for some reason.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
This is billed as a horror western.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it doesn't really read like a western. I mean, it reads like early settlers.
They've got guns and hats.
Okay.
So I think that's how it's a western. I mean, what constitutes... we could get into it, but let's not and say we did.
I don't know a lot of these actors.
Nope, not really. Like I said, the main build, Dennis Lipscomb. He's the one person that has the most credits, probably. Carrie Sherman was in 48 Hour, but she's always somebody in the background.
She was in Satan's Cheerleaders.
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait to make that connection.
Yep.
Oh, which is great on Clark, by the way.
Oh, God. I can't escape him. Guess we might as well just get to learn to love him. Yeah, Satan's Cheerleaders. You need to do that. But yeah, so that's it. I don't want to say too much about it because I want you to just go in fresh eyes. Try to find it somewhere else, but it is in its entirety on YouTube. It's just a little blurry.
Okay.
Also, Will Hare is in it too. He's actually her husband. And he's been in a bunch of stuff. He was in Back to the Future. He's the guy whose barn Marty crashes into when he goes back to the 50s. So
awesome.
Anyway, that's it. I think we did it.
I'm looking up here, Eyes of Fire, where to watch, and now YouTube. It said Vimeo, but it looks like it's just a preview.
I'll look around, and I'll at least tell you, maybe we can edit it back in if I find it somewhere else.
It says here on Real Good that it is not available to watch free online. Not available to rent or buy. Not available to stream on TV. So really, this is a true moratorium movie.
Exactly. Which is, I have written at the top of the page, needed to get this one out of the way because I had to do it sometime, and it might not be the most exciting movie, but I mean, I was thinking, well, should I do this or like, brain damage or something? And I was really didn't know what the next one was going to be.
Well, the way to get there was real convoluted.
It was.
You went from well-known actors to woman in cab.
Right. Hey, that woman has been in a cab a lot. She's made a lot of money getting in and out of cabs.
I think you're right.
Who's to say? Not me. But I think we've done enough damage for the day.
One of the actors here is a giant voiceover actor that's in this film.
Okay. Let's save it for next week.
All right. Well, let's tell our audience where they can find us.
All the usual social things. You know what they are. I'm not going to say all of them.
Blah, 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 blah.
Exactly. Twitter. Do we have a Facebook account? We need to delete that immediately.
Now, I will say that we are starting a Patreon.
Ooh.
We're starting a Patreon, and all of the director's cuts are going behind the paywall.
Man, try to keep them back there.
So what I'm saying is right now, hey, get in there and listen to them while you can for free.
Yes.
They're even up on YouTube. I'll be taking those down shortly. That's going to be a lot of work. I'm actually taking a week off just to get everything out of the way.
Well, yeah, do it. You deserve it.
I deserve it. I'll be drinking a lot that week.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, please subscribe to our Patreon and help support us for as little as $1 a month.
Wow. That's
cheap.
That's chump change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As little as $1 a month, you can help support this podcast and what we do, what we spend every week now for almost a year. We're almost a year old. We are getting really close to potty training.
Are we getting better at this or worse at this? What do you think?
Yes.
Both, maybe? At the same time?
At the same time.
Well, I'll take that.
All right. You got anything else to add?
Nope.
All right. Well, let's shut this bitch down.
Okay. See you later, guys.
Bye-bye. Shazbot. If you've made it this long, then you should listen up. We have some big things planned for our future, so stay tuned. We're getting ready to turn it up to 11. Next week, Jason and I break down Eyes of Fire. Check out our website for links to all of our movies and more. Again, please like, share, and subscribe, then rinse and repeat. We appreciate your support. If you have any movie suggestions, or just want to tell us how much we really suck, you can contact us at moviemoratorium@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and long live VHS.
That was fun and informative and confusing.